Ken Hodgson. Today I want to touch on the issue of anger. Anger is an emotion that we all have. Anger is an emotion that God has given us. When used correctly, anger can help protect us. It can give us power. It can warn us when there's danger. It can be very, very useful. When used incorrectly, it's the exact opposite. It's destructive. And I know in the healing process of PTSD, of the abuse issues I had in my childhood, anger just becomes so prevalent. And I know, like, right after I drove my life right off the edge of the earth, and sitting in my front room for days on end, just staring into space and feeling already at that point all kinds of anger. And for me, um, I disciplined myself before all this happened to control anger. And I didn't do it 100%, and I failed miserably at times, and even during this last 3.5 years. But for the most part, I kept anger in, and I knew how destructive it could be to my wife, my kids, uh, anybody. I know watch people break things, yell at people, swear, and I didn't want to do those things, which is a good thing. But the bad part about that is I held in so much anger that it wreaked havoc on my body and my nerves, until I started actively trying to release anger. I know one time in one of my counseling sessions, my counselor, the wonderful Dr. Detroit, uh, was trying to get me to in touch with my anger, and I started to, and I got so afraid that I might knock her over, hurt her. I couldn't go through with it. But afterwards, as I left her office, for the next 2 weeks, I was so angry. And there's healthy ways to get rid of anger or to exercise that anger. One and the most common one is journaling. Journaling is good for so many things. It's good for depression. It's good for anxiety. It's good for when you're confused. I mean, really, journaling is like the one anointment that we can put on about every cut, bruise, broken thing we have. It's super healthy. Being able to vent by yourself, being able to vent to somebody is even better. If you get someone to agree with you, to just let you vent, just let it out, and no matter what it looks like, what it sounds like, to be able to let it out, that's also very healthy. One of the things, and I did that. I did that. There was a person in my life that allowed me to vent. As a matter of fact, they allowed me to vent way more than I would vent, which is incredible. Um, One of the other ways that I like to do that was to hit inanimate objects like a tree or a stump, a board with a hammer. Sometimes I know I was in this one lot. There was all kinds of beer bottles around, and I broke every single one of them, and it felt great. So you can do those things, and there's you can get creative. I know I heard of once of throwing ice cubes and hearing them shatter and break. Um, One of the more frustrating things for me was I did want to use the bat and the hammer on noisy things to just let a lot of anger and aggression out, but my shoulder has hurt during a big part of this healing process, and I would still do it, but it killed my shoulder, which I don't know if I mentioned this, but pain creates anger. So I would be releasing one anger and getting angry about why I can't just do this in a healthy way and not be in so much pain. So it's kind of comical on one hand, but it wasn't comical when I was going through it. It was it would create depression. It just why me? Why can't I just do this correctly? So even though I'm giving you these ideas, or maybe you've already had these ideas of healthy ways to do it, it can still get complex. Just because something is healthy or it's the right way to do it doesn't mean it's going to go perfect. Doesn't mean it's going to happen like that. Doesn't mean it's going to cure everything. But it is a healthy practice. It's something that you want to start doing, continue doing until you don't need it anymore. And I think I mentioned in the first video that a lot of the healthy things that I was taught to do, that I knew to do, didn't seem like they were doing any good for months, even a year, year and a half. It seemed like nothing was denting my pain, my confusion, my lostness, my brokenness. It was just incredibly hard to get to anything good that started to grow because I was doing something right. It's how I experienced it. That's how I felt and saw it. Um, and things seemed to just fall. One wall would fall down, another wall would fall down. It seemed like the walls of my life just fell for a couple of years in a row, and just barely hanging on to the most important walls of my life. By the end of it all, and since then, I've been rebuilding a new life, a new house to live in, without layers of trauma, without a deep trauma in my childhood, controlling everything. So it is so worth the trouble, so worth the pain and the effort you're going to have to make is so worth it, because everyone can rebuild their lives. Everybody can get healthy. No one has to stay in the darkness. No one has to stay in the pain. You can get relief. You can get healing. And I used to always say, when you got a cut and it's an open wound, anytime you bump it, no matter how you wrap it, it's going to hurt. It can get infected. But when it heals, it may be an ugly scar, but scars don't hurt. Scars are there to remind us what we've been through. They have a story. It teaches us things, but they don't hurt. These years, these wounds have taken to heal, and every time it's bumped, and some of them still hurt. They're not completely scarred over, because I can have a thought or something can go wrong, it's not at the level it was in the past 3 years, but it's still there. It's still there in a way I don't want it there, but I'm still not done working. I work hard every day to continue to get my life healthy and to get my confidence back and to get my dignity back, so to speak. So I encourage you to keep working hard and go ahead and get angry. Get mad as hell, but don't hurt anybody and don't hurt yourself. Don't break things of value, and do what you got to do to get healthy, and don't stop. And I'd sure like to hear from you. It'd be great to hear what you're thinking, questions you might have. Have a great day. Make it a great day. Do what you have to do to make it a good day. Find something good and be cheerful about it. God has not abandoned us. He hasn't forsaken us. He is there in all that darkness and all that pain. He's there. He's there. Thank you very much. Have a great day.